I didn't need closeness to understand you. Distance has never been a barrier when something is felt from the soul. Even from afar, even in silence, even in the spaces where words don't reach, I felt you. Not just your presence, but the way your presence carries itself. The way your smile doesn't arrive instantly, it pauses just for a second. As if your heart quietly asks, is it safe this time? And maybe the world misses that moment. Maybe people see your smile, but not the hesitation behind it. But I do. I see the strength you wear like armor, and the tiredness you hide beneath it. I notice how you say I'm fine, while your silence gently whispers something else entirely. I notice how you give warmth so freely to others, yet keep parts of yourself untouched by that same warmth. Like your heart is a home you don't easily open. And I don't say this to expose you. I say it gently, because I want you to know that someone sees you, without trying to take anything from you. Someone who watches quietly, not to judge, but to understand. You don't like being seen too deeply, do you? You're comfortable when people admire your laughter, your kindness, your simplicity. But the moment someone begins to look beyond that, into your fears, your guarded thoughts, your silent battles, you step back. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just enough distance, to protect something fragile inside you. And honestly, I respect that. Because it tells me something rare about you. It tells me your heart is not careless. It tells me your emotions are not cheap. It tells me that when you do let someone in, it won't be casual. It will be real. And real things are never rushed. So listen to me carefully. Not as someone trying to reach you quickly, but as someone willing to meet you slowly. I'm not here to break your walls. I'm not here to rush your heart. And I'm definitely not here to demand something you're not ready to give. I just want to sit, right here, in this quiet space between us, and tell you something honestly. You don't have to be fearless with me. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to pretend that you have everything under control. Because what I feel when I think about you, it has nothing to do with perfection. It has everything to do with how real you feel. There's something about your presence, soft, calm, unforced, like a quiet place in a world that never stops making noise. And sometimes, I imagine you alone. Not in sadness, but in those quiet moments, when your thoughts get louder than everything else. Maybe you're scrolling through your phone, maybe you're just sitting there, thinking about things you never say out loud. And in those moments, I wish you could hear something simple. Not loud, not overwhelming. Just soft. You don't have to carry everything alone. Not because you're weak, but because you deserve someone who sees you without making you feel exposed. Someone who listens without turning your feelings into questions. Someone who stays, without making you feel like you have to perform to be worth it. Do you know what draws me closer to you? It's not just your beauty, though you carry that in a quiet, effortless way. It's not just your words, though there's sincerity in everything you say. It's something deeper, something beneath everything visible. It's your heart, the way it moves quietly, the way it feels deeply, even when you act calm, the way you protect your softness, like it's something sacred. And maybe, that's exactly what it is. Something sacred. That's why when I speak to you, I don't rush. I choose my words carefully, like I'm holding something delicate. Because you feel like someone who deserves gentleness. And maybe right now, you're wondering, how could you understand me like this? I'm not saying I know everything about you. I'm saying, I feel you. I feel the quiet strength you carry. I feel the tenderness you don't always show. I feel the part of you that wants to be understood, but is afraid of being misunderstood. And that is one of the hardest places to stand, wanting closeness, but fearing it at the same time. If I were sitting beside you right now, I wouldn't ask you to explain yourself. I wouldn't ask you to open up faster than your heart allows. I would just sit there, in silence, because silence with the right person is never empty. It's safe. And that's all I want you to feel when you hear me. Not pressure, not expectation, just warmth. Because whether you realize it or not, you have this quiet way of touching hearts without even trying. Maybe it's the way you listen. Maybe it's the way your eyes soften when you care. Maybe it's the calm you bring without speaking much. But something about you feels sincere. And sincerity, in this world, is rare. And maybe you still don't fully believe it. Maybe a part of you is quietly reading all this, with a small doubt resting in your chest, wondering how someone could feel you this deeply, without even being close to you. But the truth is, some souls don't need proximity. They don't need constant conversations, or loud moments to recognize each other. They feel, in silence. They understand, in stillness. And with you, that understanding doesn't feel forced. It arrives naturally, like something that was always meant to be noticed. You know, I keep thinking about the way you exist in this world. Not loudly. Not in a way that demands attention. But in a way that leaves something behind. In the hearts of those who truly see. You're not the kind of person who tries to be unforgettable. And yet, you are. Not because you try, but because you feel. Because there's something in your presence that lingers longer than moments themselves. And I think that's what stays with me. Not just what you show, but what you carry. The quiet emotions, the unspoken thoughts, the things you hold inside, without ever making them heavy for others. You carry them, gracefully, even when they weigh on you. And sometimes, I wonder how often you sit with those feelings alone. How often you choose silence, instead of explaining what's going on inside you. How often you tell yourself, "It's okay, I'll handle it." Even when a part of you just wants someone to understand without asking too many questions. Because I feel like you're used to that role, the one who understands others, the one who listens, the one who notices, the one who stays calm, even when things feel overwhelming. But who does that for you, who pauses long enough to read your silence, the way you read others, who looks at you and thinks, "She deserves to be understood too." Because you do. More than you probably allow yourself to admit. You deserve someone who notices the shift in your energy, even when your words don't change. Someone who understands that your silence is not emptiness, it's depth. Someone who doesn't rush you to open up, but stays long enough for you to feel safe doing it naturally. And when I think about that, I feel this quiet pull inside me. Not to fix you, not to change you, but to be gentle with you. Even in the way I think about you. Even in the way I speak to you. Because something about your heart feels like it deserves care, not curiosity. Understanding, not pressure. There's something else I want you to hear. Something I feel deeply when I think about you. You don't have to be strong all the time. Not in the way the world expects strength. You don't have to carry yourself like nothing ever affects you. You don't have to hide your emotions just to keep things simple for others. Because the truth is, your softness is not a weakness. It's not something you need to protect by pretending it doesn't exist. It's actually one of the most beautiful things about you, the way you feel deeply, the way you care quietly, the way you protect your heart. Instead of giving it away carelessly, these things don't make you fragile. They make you real. And in a world where so many people hide behind indifference, being real is rare. Maybe you've been misunderstood before. Not in loud, obvious ways, but in those quiet moments that stay with you longer than they should. When someone assumed you were fine because you didn't speak up. When someone thought you were distant. When you were just being careful. When someone didn't recognize your depth. Because you didn't show everything at once. Those moments, they change how a heart opens. They teach you to hold back a little more each time. To protect yourself without even realizing you're doing it. And I feel like that's a part of your story. Not something you talk about, but something that shaped the way you love, the way you trust, the way you exist around people. And I want you to know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being careful with something as valuable as your heart. But at the same time, I hope you never forget that your heart deserves to feel safe too. Not just protected, but understood. Not just guarded, but gently held. If I could tell you one thing, without the world interrupting, just one quiet truth, it would be this: you don't have to prove your worth to be cared for. You don't have to earn attention by being perfect. You don't have to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. The right connection, it doesn't ask you to become less. It allows you to become more of who you already are. Slowly, naturally, without fear. And when I think about you, that's the kind of space I wish for you. A space where your laughter feels free, where your thoughts feel welcome, where your emotions don't feel like too much. A space where you don't have to question whether you're understood, because you just are. Sometimes, I imagine you hearing these words late at night, when everything is quiet, when your thoughts are louder. And maybe in that moment, something shifts softly inside you. Not dramatically. Not all at once. Just a small warmth. A small awareness that someone, somewhere, sees you in a way you didn't expect. And maybe you don't say anything about it. Maybe you just carry that feeling quietly. Like something personal. Like something that belongs only to you. And honestly, that's enough. Because this was never about changing everything at once. It was never about creating something loud or overwhelming. It was always about this soft moment. This quiet connection. This feeling that exists without needing to be explained. And even now, as I keep speaking to you like this, I can feel there's still more inside me. More thoughts. More quiet truths. More feelings that haven't fully turned into words yet. Because when I think about you, it doesn't come in one sentence. It comes in waves. Slow, steady, endless. And every time I pause, another feeling rises. Another reason appears for why your presence stays with me the way it does. It's like your existence opened a space inside me, where honesty feels easier, where words don't feel forced, where I can just be real. And maybe that's why I'm still here, still speaking, still letting these thoughts unfold slowly, because something about you makes it hard to stop. Not in a chaotic way, but in a calm, steady pull, like something unfinished, something still growing, something that hasn't reached its full meaning yet. And I don't want to rush that. I don't want to turn it into something rushed or defined too quickly. I want to let it stay soft, because softness like this is rare.